Hi, you guys. Let us know if you can hear us. I'm here with Jeremy from Dead Presidents. Everyone say hello in the chat. They'll probably start filtering in pretty quickly. We'll see them appear. All right, you guys, I am here with Jeremy from Dead Presidents, and as you guys know, I'm Tina with eJuices.com. So we do this segment pretty much every week. We have people come in, we have manufacturers, we have coil people, we have everybody in the industry and beyond. But we noticed that Ask the Juice Maker seemed to be a very, very popular segment with you guys. So we definitely wanted to give you the opportunity to ask another e-juice manufacturer any questions you guys might have, because these guys are industry pros and it's not every day that you guys are able to ask these questions. So like I said before, above I have with me Jeremy from Dead Presidents. And we thought that would be kind of cheeky considering that yesterday was President's Day, and also because his brand is awesome. So thank you for joining us, Jeremy. You guys, we also have a giveaway going on at the end of this show that you'll hear me bring up a few more times. But Jeremy was so kind as to provide us with some prizes for it. So if you guys see the link underneath this video, go ahead and click that and enter, because the winner of this giveaway will receive the entire Dead Presidents line, all 7 flavors, and a Dead Presidents hoodie. And look at how awesome. There it is right there behind him. Look at all that awesome branding, you guys. Really, really cool looking. So, Jeremy, again, thanks for joining us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And where are you at right now, Jeremy?
I'm actually sitting in one of the offices in my house.
Very cool. Location-wise, where are you at? State, province, area?
We're about 13 miles south of Boise, Idaho, in a little town called Caldwell, Idaho.
Very cool. And is it cold there, hot, warm, the weird bipolar weather this country has been experiencing this week?
Bipolar. We'd had a really mild winter and got up this morning and it was 11. You know, 11 is not really a temperature, is it?
Oh my gosh, no. No, it's like, no. That's, yeah, you know, I would say that it's the same over here in Vegas, but it dropped from like 70 to 50, so it's still reasonable.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, I don't blame you. 11, I couldn't do that. I'm a Vegas person, so anything below 50. So Jeremy, I would actually love to hear a little bit about Dead Presidents, just how it got started, how you came up with the name, the brand, all that good stuff.
Dead Presidents originated in 2015, about in August of 2015, and we wanted something that people would remember. And when we post for Dead Presidents, we would use like the hashtag vape history. A lot of people are history buffs, and you know, even if you weren't paying attention in history class, you know who George Washington and Teddy Roosevelt and Thomas Jefferson, and we wanted to keep it at top of mind. But more importantly, we wanted to try to match flavors to these Dead Presidents. And a lot of people, I think, get the impression, you know, from us that Dead Presidents is like a dollar bill or a $5 bill or something like that. But it was a little bit more in depth, and especially with the release of Kennedy, it was very, very difficult to find something that Kennedy liked to eat on a daily basis that we could turn into a vape. So along came the orange marmalade.
That's awesome. Yeah, could you actually walk us through each flavor, like each president, and the flavors that you guys came up with for those presidents, and kind of how you came up with that for that specific president?
Yeah, I wish there was a lot more magic behind it than a whole bunch of Google searches, but I mean, for Kennedy, we came up with the orange marmalade because he liked to have marmalade on his toast for breakfast in the morning. And obviously, he was an extremely popular president, so we felt like we had to just nail that one. Roosevelt is a strawberry watermelon hard candy. Rumor has it that watermelon was one of Teddy Roosevelt's favorite things to eat, and it's also our #1 seller.
Wow.
George Washington is a blue raspberry cotton candy with a puckering sour. And that particular flavor was developed off the grid for flavoring. We'll get into that later about how the manufacturing process goes, but you won't find it anywhere. And it's very unique, has a very cotton candy flavor on the inhale, and it does have that puckering sour on the exhale. The description matches the flavor perfectly. Jefferson is our cereal one. If you like cereals, that one has won a couple of awards at different shows we've been to. Lincoln is our melon blend. It's really tasty. Jackson is our blueberry muffin. If you like blueberry muffins, you can't beat it. And we just had a lot of fun putting them together and doing the research to find out, what did these presidents actually like? And it was kind of a real lesson in history to go back and find out, okay, well, we know everything about these presidents except for what they like to eat.
Yeah. Yeah, wow, that's so unique that you went and you did all that. I mean, you say you're boiling it down to Google searches, but just the idea itself of let's do dead presidents. All right, what did they like to eat? Let's match up the flavors. Like, that's so unique. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody doing that. And then, you gear it towards your history buff audience, and it's like the perfect combination. That's so unique. I didn't even know. I just thought that I didn't even know that was the way that you guys came up with the flavors. That's so cool. What was your motivation for starting this brand? Was it the history buffs themselves that were kind of your target market, or are you a little bit of a history buff yourself and that's how you got into it? Or
myself and my two partners are kind of history buffs, and then we're also skull fanatics.
Oh yeah. I see a little skeleton behind you too.
My buddy over here. Yeah.
He's waving.
We throw the best Halloween party in the state of Idaho. You guys can make it next year. It's always the Saturday before Halloween.
I may take you up on that because honestly, Halloween's my favorite holiday, and I don't play around with that. So.
But we kind of evolved. We went from a hashtag vape history, which was what the presidents the foods that they like to eat, more into like a hashtag dead nation. Because when we're dealing wholesale with the stores and the distros and stuff, the skulls go a long ways. And with our marketing team, they came up with some really neat designs, and it just took off from there.
That's awesome. And actually, when did you guys start this brand then? When did it go from vape history to dead presidents?
Those two were kind of integrated, and those happened in August of 2015, and then it evolved more into dead presidents, hashtag dead nation, right after the FDA compliance dropped, so it would have been about September of 16.
Okay, so pretty recently then. Okay. And what about you? I'd love to hear about you and kind of your personal story and how you got into vaping, how you ended up in this industry, because everybody's story is always different, so I'd love to hear.
I love telling this story. My background's actually in engineering.
Oh.
A far cry from vape juice.
Yeah.
When I was engineering, I was responsible for designing sewer lift stations, bridges, culverts. I smoked a lot. And anytime I started to really think about something real deeply, I would stand out in front of our office and I'm smoking a cigarette. This went on for about 20 years. So I was a hardcore smoker. I had no intentions of stopping. I liked to smoke. I liked the feel of it. I liked the smell of it. I liked the way that it affected me. Started dabbling with vape a little bit when it first started kind of going mainstream a little bit, maybe a little bit before that. I'm one of those guys that had the ego twist, with a ridiculous tank on it.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine, he's one of my business partners, hit me up one day and he goes, "What do you know about this vape juice?" And we both knew a fellow up in Spokane, Washington that owned a chain of stores, and we kind of queried him about it, and we were like, I'm going to switch all the way over to vaping. And when I did it, I coughed up all this crud out of my lungs. I had this evil itch in the back of my throat from my philia growing back. And then all of a sudden I could breathe easier, and I could run, and I could do the things that I always liked to do. And we thought, well, what we really need to do is we need to establish our own brand of e-liquid. As we see what's out on the market, it's massively competitive, and we wanted to make our footprint out there, and so along came Dead Presidents. We actually own 7 other lines, but Dead Presidents is our premier worldwide line.
And your umbrella is eJuice Boulevard, correct? Is the overall larger structure, but Dead Presidents is one of your best selling, like you said.
Yep. eJuice Boulevard is our parent company. You can see everything at eJuice Boulevard, eJuiceBLDD.com, everything that we have to offer.
Very cool. And so I mean, so you went from engineering, what kind of engineering? I have to ask. My brother and my dad are both engineers, chemical and biomedical. So No, I was just saying, I'm just curious because that is such a far cry from the vape world that it's just such a different industry.
Have you ever had one of those experiences where you feel like you're in the wrong body and you look around at your coworkers and stuff and just go, this is not the life that I was supposed to lead?
Yeah.
That was me.
Really?
I like to think that I'm funny and I have a sense of humor, and most engineers have to think about the joke.
Structure. No, I know what you mean, though. Structured, methodical. Definitely. Yeah.
So it was time for a change, and the vaping industry and the people that we deal with, we are so much fun. From the clients, the end users, to our distributors, to our wholesalers. It's like we're vaping, we're testing different flavors, we're showing off tattoos. We're saving lives, most importantly.
Yes. It's extremely fascinating that it's, other than, the most important thing, which is saving lives. It's such a young industry, and I think that's what makes it so fun, that it's kind of almost free from a lot of the standards, if you will, that are put on other businesses. Everybody's a little more casual, everybody's a little more friendly in the environment, everybody's kind of united in this, and I think that that's interesting to see, not just that it's a young industry itself, but that a lot of the people that are in the business are kind of bringing in this new culture. And I think that's why I at least love working in the industry, because it's like this young, quick, fast-paced culture. It's never the same. Something's always changing. So, I can see. I'm sorry, go on.
Phenomenal.
I'm just saying, I can see how if you didn't like the engineering thing, how this would be like the polar opposite end of that as far as industries go. So, very cool.
It's kind of funny now because I still have a lot of engineering buddies, and they're like, "What are you guys doing over there? Can we get involved?"
Yeah. Definitely. And it's cool to be able to make, like, for everyone who's involved, it's cool to be able to make an impact on an industry that's got so much going on, and it's like it could go either way all the time. So so we actually have a few questions for you in the chat, in our live chat, and when people ask, I can go ahead and drop them for you so that you can answer them. So we had someone ask, Jeremy, do you have a tea flavor in your sites? Since tea was such a popular hot drink earlier in U.S. history, and it could possibly be linked to a president.
Oh, what a great idea. What a fabulous book. I'm sure it would make a good vape. We do not have a tea flavor in our lineup.
But
there was tea flavor I tried a little while ago. I'd be happy to recommend. I think it was by Marina Vape, called that Thai tea, though, or something like that. Phenomenal.
That's awesome. I'll have to check that out. I'm a tea fan myself. I haven't really tried too many tea vapes. I just like drinking tea, but I should give it a shot. We have Shawless B, who I think that you mentioned this just a few minutes ago, but if you could reiterate, the parent company, did eJuice Boulevard start in 2015 as well, or was that a little earlier before Vape History, which then became Dead Presidents?
eJuice Boulevard actually started second because of the success of Dead Presidents. We decided to create a parent company that kind of acts as a holding company for all of the lines that we produce.
Very cool. And so same person, Shawless B, also wants to know, have you ever considered designing a mod with your background, since you have an engineering background?
There are some in existence.
Oh, okay.
I should have brought one with me to show you guys. We didn't actually create it, but we partnered with RIG, and they're copper B2s and B3s that actually have the dead president's insignia down on them with a little picture of George Washington on them. They're really neat. There's about 50 of them, I want to say, out there. And keep an eyeball out for them. I see them pop up every now and then.
There you go, Shawless B. Keep an eye out. So we have another question from Cody, actually, in the chat. Lots of you guys are being so active today. Thank you, guys. We have a question. What is your favorite dead president flavor?
Easy. Roosevelt. Every day in and day out. I can't get away from it. I love it.
Is that the watermelon one you said? That's the most popular? Oh man, that sounds amazing. I love fruity flavors. You got it in the tank? Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so he says thank you. Guys, definitely check out that one. I believe you said that was the most popular one. So if you guys are a fan of watermelon, go ahead and check out Roosevelt Dead Presidents, because that's his favorite, and I'm inclined to believe him that it's good. So Jeremy, we talked about the flavors in your line earlier. Do you use kind of across the board PG-VG ratio, or are they kind of different? You know, some of them use a little more and a little less based on maybe it's like tart or something.
That's a good question. We decided to go with consistency across the line. So it's all a 70-30. It's great for retaining the flavor in the liquid. We steep right off the bat, so you could actually vape a bottle of anything we make immediately. But we decided on consistency across the line, and we thought that at the 70-30, you know, you get to retain that flavor and you still have a decent cloud production too for the cloud chuckers out there.
Makes sense. I think I've seen 70-30 seems to be kind of like the standard nowadays that I see on most people, because like you said, you still get pretty decent cloud, flavor's still there. It's not crazy, not too much of a throat hit. So we have a couple more questions in the chat. Referring back to your earlier recommendation on Roosevelt, the watermelon flavor, is that your favorite president, or are any of the presidents in your line your favorite president?
This has to be a dead one, right?
It could be a live one. It could be a live one.
No,
dead or alive, you know.
I'm a huge fan of Teddy Roosevelt. You know, if you really delve into the presidents and all the idiosyncrasies they've had in American history, you'd be just absolutely shocked at what you find. And it seems like good old Teddy was a pretty solid individual. So, I'm gonna revert to Roosevelt again.
Listen, I just watched a documentary on the Roosevelts last night, so this is like fascinating for me that we're talking about this, because Teddy was like this crazy guy that did all these crazy excursions, and then he was like a cowboy for 10 years. But you know this already. You're a history buff. I can tell just by talking to you. That's cool though. Yeah, Teddy was a really cool president. We have Rissa Vapes asking, which one was the cotton candy one again? Was that Washington?
That was Washington,
the tart. So Rissa, it's Washington, it's cotton candy, and then it has like a pucker tart. It's a raspberry tart, right?
It's
blue
cotton candy, blue raspberry with a puckering sour at the end. And I would, if you've never tried the Dead President's Washington, I'd really urge you to, because once you try it, the chances of you putting that bottle down are about slim to none. And
Shawless B wants to know how sour is Washington, because I know some people are like...
Don't get me wrong. It's not like a up-in-your-face sour that's going to make your cheeks pucker. It's just it's there, and you can feel it on the exhale. If you're used to acidic type e-liquids, it's just on the lower end of the spectrum of being acidic. So it's not going to give you a massive throat hit, but you are definitely going to feel it on the exhale.
So I hope that answered your question. You guys, if you guys like sour flavors, or maybe you're like trying to dip your toe in, this is definitely one that I would recommend. Do you guys, so Wirtz Racing would like to know, do you guys sell your swag? Is there like an accessible place, or is it mostly reserved for like giveaways and stuff like that?
We get that question asked on almost a daily basis. We did a test market locally and here up in Boise, Idaho, just to see how it went with our dead presidents hats and T-shirts and hoodies, and it went extremely well. So there's a very good possibility that here in the near future they will release nationally.
Very cool. And on that note, I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everyone, since we had some latecomers come in, you guys, if you arrived recently or you arrived after the beginning of the stream, I'm here with Jeremy from Dead Presidents eLiquid, who is not only a history buff and not only has come up with one of the most unique ways of naming and coming up with flavors that I've ever heard of, but he's a big Teddy Roosevelt fan, and I can appreciate that. So, and on top of that, you guys, Jeremy has provided us with some great prizes. So we're having a giveaway. The link is underneath the video. You guys should definitely enter, because around 7:40-ish, 7:45-ish, we'll be drawing the winner for that giveaway. And what you're going to receive is the entire Dead Presidents line, so 7 different flavors, and then that nice Dead Presidents hoodie. And you can see he's actually got it in the background behind him. Some sweet branding, you guys, some really awesome designs, so be sure to get on that giveaway. So Jeremy, we have a couple more questions in the chat for you guys, from these guys. Will you be adding any iconic figures, not just dead presidents, from history, and adding them into the mix, or producing those under a sister line of some sort?
That's actually under heavy consideration at the moment. We would like to expand the line with some of the more famous presidents that we've had. However, FDA compliance poses a big issue for us at the moment. And obviously, for those that are familiar with FDA deeming regulations, we have to be very careful about what we release, make sure that we can get it past them, and that we can provide the almighty TP1 number that provides the FDA regulation certification with it. So if we can, we're certainly willing to, but at this point, it's a little bit up in the air.
Okay, well, there you go, Patrick. It's up in the air, but it's definitely something that is under consideration. Now we have another fan. We have Chad in the chat who says, Dead Presidents is the best juice I've ever tried. So we've got some fans in here. Yeah, and if you guys have any other questions or comments for Jeremy, be sure to leave them in the chat, because this guy's an industry pro, and he's got a really cool juice line, and he knows all the ins and the outs. So if you guys have any questions that you would like to be answered, be sure to drop them in the chat, as you have been doing amazingly well already. So Jeremy, kind of bringing it back to the product and stuff. So you've got kind of 70-30 PG ratio. You've got a mix, it sounds like a healthy mix of fruits, melons, muffins, kind of all different flavor palettes, if you will. What about bottle sizes and nick levels? What do those come in?
Right now, we deal, as far as nick levels go, 0s, of course, 3s, 6s, and 12s.
Okay.
Noticed a lot of manufacturers right now have stepped away from the 12s. It was important for us to keep them, because when you're trying to get away from, the traditional combustible tobacco, that you have something that does it for you. And, if you don't feel that nicotine, I guess I'll call it a rush, then you don't feel like it's doing what it should be doing for you. So we decided to keep it.
No, it's definitely smart. I understand that completely. It's like somebody who's used to these huge doses of nicotine going down to like a 6 or something is definitely not gonna do the same thing for a person, and make it more difficult for them to make the switch. So
as far as bottle sizes, everything we produce comes out in a 60 milliliter. However, we are getting prepared for the release of the 100 mils. So they are in the mix, and they are coming along.
Very cool. So we have a couple more. Actually, everybody is being super active. We've got tons of questions rolling in. So thank you guys. These are awesome. Keep them coming. First question is it possible to get a 3X hoodie? Someone's asking.
I apologize to you people that wear the 3X hoodies. Because when I do all the swag ordering, and when I placed the order, I went up to a 2XL on this last one. And obviously, from the tremendous feedback that we got back, that we need to get some bigger hoodies out there. So the next go around, you can count on it. We'll have them.
Very cool. So Chad, you can count on it. Next round that he doesn't order 3Xs. Now, are there any, Cody would like to know, are there any future dead presidents that you're interested in making a flavor for?
There are. There are. But again, I'm going to have to refer to the FDA deeming regulations. We have to be very, very careful in what we do. And right now we have a very big interest in the mixed salt lines. And here in about 2 weeks, you'll see a dead president's Nick line out on the market.
That actually just answered two of the we had a couple of questions about Nick salts in the chat. So yeah, could you elaborate a little bit more for Alex and Cheryl, who both asked?
Absolutely. We had to be very careful again how we introduce this line, because when we deal with some of the biggest distributors on the planet. Mm-hmm. And if the FDA is going to come snooping around, obviously they're going to be checked out first.
Yeah.
And so our main goal, besides providing a quality product to the end consumer, is also protecting our distribution channels. And so when we release something, we have to first make sure it flies with the FDA. Again, they have a little magic number called the TP1 number that shows that it's been registered with the FDA. And yes, there are 4 to 6 dead presidents mixed salts getting ready to drop. However, they are not named after dead presidents. They don't have a particular president's name on them.
Okay.
But you can rest assured that it has been manufactured by dead presidents, and the quality and the taste that you're used to will be there.
Fantastic. And are you doing those higher levels, like 50 and all that good?
Those will be introduced in 24 Nick and 48 Nick.
Okay. Okay, very cool. 20 and 48. That's interesting. I haven't heard, and it's usually like what, 30 or 50 or something. That's what I hear. So okay, very cool. So we have a question from Ethan. What is your personal favorite mod? And I'm actually curious to hear this too, since you probably understand more of the mechanics than the average Joe.
Oh man, Ethan, do you have a couple hours? I have more mods than any human should have.
But do you have a favorite?
I do have a favorite, and maybe I could get somebody to bring it to me real quick. But there was a mod made in Salt Lake City, Utah, by Vape Affliction. Started up a mod company called Osiris. Ooh. And they're all stabilized wood mods, and it uses I want to say a GX350 chip in. Oh, thank you, my lovely. That is it.
That's awesome.
All stabilized wood, uses a GX350. This is my baby. This is my pride and joy. I only take it out to cloud comps to show off.
It's beautiful.
As far as a daily use mod, I'm a huge tank fan. I'm a really, really busy guy. And Fireloop just came out with a tank that uses a mesh atomizer in it.
Ooh.
Phenomenal. I've never tasted anything so good out of a tank, and I've never seen an atomizer last so long. Fantastic. And as far as mechs, I like to go to Avid Life. This is my very favorite. If I'm using a mech, I use a Avid Life Double Gyre. Not convenient for me. I'm the world's most terrible dripper. You're probably talking to somebody or working on something, and I'm over here trying to drip like this.
That's funny. One of my questions for you was tank or drip later on, so now we know. Now we know.
It's funny, when we go to test any liquid, we test it across everything. We test it across RDAs. We try it across different builds. We try it across different tanks. You know, what does it taste like on anything that an end user might use? And so, sorry, Ethan, I told you if you want to know how to love it, the Osiris is my favorite.
He said he's always got time to talk to you and you the best. So, No, but thanks. That was a really, really cool one. The wood, like, it looked like I don't know what stabilized wood is, but petrified wood it looked like to me, which is awesome. So
Very similar. It's kind of like petrified wood with a resin added to it. It takes really good craftsmanship. Jason Horn and Daryl down at Faith Affliction did an absolutely fantastic job. I think they killed them off now, but so if you want to find one, you just have to watch the vaping groups really closely. But if you find one, don't hesitate.
I definitely won't, because that was super cool. See, I've got the opposite. I've got this Tesla Nano, and it's like steampunky. So it's like
steampunk.
the exact, yeah, I love it. I love the look of it. So I've got like the exact opposite. Instead of like the wood, it's like the steel with the gears and the whole thing. But I like that. I like that. I like the petrified or the stabilized wood one. So we've got, God, you guys are killing it with these questions right now. Thank you guys. Are you going, okay, wait, you already answered that question. Chad Neelan would like to know, how heavy or light are the sweeteners in the Dead President line?
We don't like sweeteners because we don't want to be labeled as the juice company that's going to kill your coils. So we use on some of the flavors like Kennedy to hit a true orange marmalade without with staying away from diacetyl. Takes a little bit of sweetener in there, and it will discolor your cotton. And over time it will build up on your coils, but that's the beautiful thing about cotton is it's very easy to replace if you're dripping. As far as the other flavors, the only sweeteners that we will use in them is what comes across naturally in the flavor.
And like you said, you wanted to knock the marmalade out of the park, so it's like, you know, you give a little, you lose a little, you give a little, but so, Rissa Vapes would like to know, do you have tank tops? So this branding thing, the people love your swag. Do you have tank tops?
We introduced them once back in late 2015, and we plan to do it again this summer. It turned into a big deal, and as soon as it starts to warm up a little bit, warming up in Idaho, bear in mind, Kate, I'm going to qualify this, warming up in Idaho is right around the end of May.
I can imagine. So do you guys just have like a few good months and then it's cold? Or I've never been to Idaho, so I don't.
It's really beautiful. We have all 4 seasons.
Okay.
Fall, spring, and summer, and we will bring the tank tops back. We'll probably do like a muscle shirt for the guys and tank tops for the girls.
Very cool. So Rissa, keep an eye out for this summer. I'm going to be keeping an eye out this summer because I love your guys' branding. All right. So which, you already answered that question too. 48 and 28, you said, for the Nick Salt levels.
24 and 48.
24 and 48. Cody Myers was said, I just broke my lanyard and I am so excited for the salt. Are you guys going to make Dead President lanyards?
Of course. Yeah.
All right, Cody. So we got lanyards. We got lanyards. We got tank tops coming out, you guys. What is the newest juice that you guys have released?
The newest one that we've released, we worked on we own another line called Vape Strike. We revamped it, and the 2 latest releases were a blackberry lime slushy and a pecan caramel custard. And it's slowly spreading out across all the states. It's in Iceland. It seems like it just recently went to some other country. But if you haven't had the opportunity to try those 2 revamps, they are created by, the makers of Dead Presidents, and they're out of this world.
Awesome. So there you go, Stephen Hawk. If you're curious, that's all for you. And you mentioned this earlier, but I don't think that we got a year. What year did you actually start vaping, Jeremy?
For me, it would have been, 15, 14, about 2014.
Okay. So fairly OG, but still new enough in the game that there were fancy mods coming out, and, it wasn't like 2012 with, like, the blues.
Right. No, if I started with Ego Twist, I distinctly remember it. I get so mad at it. My little bitty tank would leak, and over the shoulder it'd go.
I'm with you on that one. The Ego Twist. Jameson says, any plans for a Pierce flavor? My grandma told me I am a very distant relative.
A Pierce, well, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Again, the FDA really dictates what we do right now. So if we have the opportunity, if things change, absolutely.
So Patrick Ritter wants to know, aimed at both of us, have either of us tried the new Falcon tank? It's apparently surpassing the Fire Luke in flavor. And Patrick, I have not tried the Falcon tank, but I will take your word for it and definitely try it now that you've brought that up. Have you had a chance?
I haven't had the opportunity to try it yet either, but I know that everything that those folks produce is phenomenal. So yep. I definitely will be trying it.
So, well, you made a believer out of us by asking that question, Patrick. So, but definitely once I try it, I'll comment underneath this video and let you know, Patrick. So if you want to come back later after I give it a try. Alex would like to know, will you be exhibiting at any trade shows in the near future?
We are not a big trade show, not a big manufacturer for trade shows. We use an awful lot of our marketing money giving swag to our vape family, lanyards. I've gone, we've been at the big ECCs and stuff. It's a really, really good time. But for us, it's not as conducive to business as some of the smaller shows. We kind of try to stay away. Usually somebody always represents us there at the big ones.
Yeah.
But we tend to go to the smaller ones ourselves.
Okay. So what would you consider like a smaller one?
A smaller one, like the West Coast Vape Expo.
Okay.
I think the last one they did was up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. One before that was over in Lincoln City, Oregon. They're very intimate. You get some big names that come in, and we have a ball.
Yeah, smaller, less people, less booths, less drama, for sure. Makes sense. Let's see. So we have Ethan Wolford Griggs would like to know, can I get a wrap from my truck to represent dead presidents?
Thank you so much. That's awesome. We're actually working on my Jeep here in a little while, so we'll keep you posted.
Awesome. So let's see. So someone asked, what is your favorite coil build? Do you have any specific coil builds that are you into that sort of thing?
I have a confession to make for the vape family. I have never built my own coil in my life. I have some phenomenal people that work for me, and I say, make this taste good, and they bring it back. And I want to say that they're 0.1s, and they hit like a Mack truck. So, I've never personally built one myself, and to be honest, I don't have time. I will make that commitment. I will sit down and learn how to build a coil.
See, I've never built one either, so don't feel bad. I leave it to the people who know what I'm like, you do that. I'm gonna deal with juice. You guys deal with the coils. So, I would actually love to hear about the need that you feel your products fulfill in the market. So as far as how your brand stands out from other brands and what need that it's filling for people that maybe it's not filling for other people. So we've got history buffs, which is just awesome because I know people who would go crazy if they heard what you were doing with your brand and how you were naming it. But are there any other ways that you feel that you guys set yourself apart from the others?
Dead Presidents has been a real blessing for us as far as the branding goes. It literally has its own cult following, and we get messages daily on Instagram from all over the world. People wanting to rep for us, people loving the skulls, people loving the taste, because a lot of the flavorings that we use are not easily attainable. So if you've got, 2 or 3 juices up on the wall that say that they're like a watermelon hard candy, the Dead Presidents is really going to stand out from the other ones because of the flavorings that we use in it. So that combined with our marketing and branding has created what we like to call Dead Nation now. In fact, we started using that hashtag quite a bit on some of the swag. I think it might be on I don't know if you guys can see that, but Dead Nation on the backs of the hat.
I like that.
And we invite people to, when they're posting for us or they're giving us a shout out, which we really appreciate, to use that hashtag Dead Nation so they're easily findable for us. And it's really brought kind of like an extended family together, because I always tell people, now, please don't take this as boasting, fam, but what I tell people about Dead Presidents is I was a Marlboro Light smoker. That was my cigarette. And Dead Presidents, when you try it, especially if you're into your Roosevelts, your Washingtons, your Jeffersons, once you go and get a bottle of it and you try it, if your shop doesn't have Roosevelt, Washington, or Jefferson, just like me, when I smoked Marlboro Lights, if I stopped by the local convenience store and they didn't have it, I was on the next one to get that pack. Same thing with Dead Presidents. We're truly, truly blessed in that aspect.
And it sounds like you guys have a lot of fans. Same thing, that people who are more than willing to wait for you guys to be in stock. So, we have a question from Bethany. Do you have any Dead President tattoos? Dead President's tattoo.
I just might.
Oh, nice! Look at that. I was not expecting that. That is awesome. I love that.
That's right. I'm a freak. I live and breathe Dead President.
I love it. I love the flag. I love it. I love the font. I love the flag waving. I love the fade. I love it. I love it. So Bethany and Nibble 2020, that is your Dead President's tattoo. I was not expecting even one, but even if you did have one, for it to be that cool, to be honest. So that's awesome. So we've got, so as far as you've mentioned, the FDA and all of that fun stuff that everybody in the vape industry has to deal with. Safety and sterile conditions all seem to be kind of a hot topic. So as far as like manufacturing goes and everything, so can you tell us a little bit about your facilities and your manufacturing process and your guys' standards for that?
I'd be happy to. Actually, this is a major point for me. It's very important to us when our product goes to the end user. We're fully aware that it's going inside your body, inside your lungs, nonetheless. We want the cleanest, most consistent product that we can give our consumers every time they go to get a bottle of Dead Presidents. They can expect that it's going to be the same. And the way that let me backtrack for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
this is where the FDA really comes into play. This is a big deal. When this industry first went mainstream, you had lots of, we call them bathtub juice makers. There wasn't any regulation on the way that the eJuice was produced. And so I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to knock anybody, but I've seen eJuice that I personally would not vape. Most of your big manufacturers have everything under control. We've got sister manufacturers that are just absolutely phenomenal and follow all the same guidelines that we do. But what we do to protect our extended family is we have an ISO 7 comparable lab. It's got a HEPA filtration system on it with positive airflow. Nobody steps foot in our lab without booties on, a lab coat, gloves, a face mask, a hair net, a beard net, anything to keep that juice absolutely pure. Our lab's fairly good size. We operate 2 of our machines out of that lab. And then our facility itself is about 7,500 square feet where we warehouse the juice before it heads out to distributors and wholesalers. It is a major contention point for us that we produce the cleanest, most quality product out there, and at least, follow with the standards set forth by the guys that really know what they're doing. I feel like with the FDA deeming regulations that it's going to clear the field a little bit. The ones that don't quite have the horsepower to produce juice in a lab like that, we're going to start kind of going by the wayside. I don't wish them any ill, but we're dealing with a product that goes inside your body, and we owe it to the vape community to produce the cleanest juice possible.
I agree 100% with that. I hands down 100%. It's sad that some people will be getting forced out the door, definitely. But then there's also the relief of knowing that the product that you're getting really is a premium product and that it's undergone so many different, whether it's testing to having the correct certifications for your lab, like you said, beard nets. I haven't heard anyone say that yet on this show. That that it's coming from a clean quality place. So that's fantastic to hear, and I'm sure that everyone who hears this on this show, whether they're watching now or in the future, are extremely relieved to hear that, because we have lots of Dead Presidents fans in this chat right now. Let me tell you, Juicing with Jen said Roosevelt's her favorite too. So you also have another person who loves that watermelon flavor. I'm going to take this moment just to pause because we had a couple of people pop in. But for all of you guys who joined us a little bit late, I'm here with Jeremy from Dead Presidents, and he has been awesome so far in answering all of your guys' questions, all of our questions regarding kind of the eJuice manufacturing process, his branding, how he started and got into vaping, which is always extremely interesting when you have an industry influencer like this. So we have a giveaway going on, you guys, which Jeremy has provided some amazing prizes for. So be sure to enter that. The link is underneath the video. You'll see it. When you enter, we're going to be drawing a winner around 7:40, 7:45-ish. Whoever wins is going to receive the entire Dead Presidents line. So that's 7 flavors, you guys. They have pretty much a flavor for every palate. And you're also going to get one of those awesome Dead Presidents hoodies that lots of people in the chat are asking about. So be sure to join that ASAP. We'll go ahead and link it for you guys in the chat in just a moment. So someone said, where is my martini? Extra olives. What is that, by the way? I'm curious. It looks like a mudslide mixed with a martini kind of thing.
Just a very dirty martini.
Nice, very nice. So we talked kind of about who your brand's targeted to and everything, and we talked about your safety standards. But a lot of people don't really understand the overall juice making process and the amount of effort that goes into that. And even when you were saying earlier that you just had to nail orange marmalade, I can only imagine the kind of work and time and energy that went into that. So if you could just kind of go over the juice making process for our viewers, how it starts, when it's concluded, how long does it take when it comes from a concept to the final product, like that gap, how long is that usually?
It's pretty intensive. It's definitely a labor of love. But when Dead Presidents was started, it was scheduled to only have 4 flavors. And with the release of those 4 flavors, they gained popularity so quickly up here where we're at, because you always start in your backyard.
Yeah.
That we quickly decided that it was a line that needed a couple of more presidents in there. But as far as getting into how the juice is manufactured, when you manufacture on the scale that we do, it is intensive. We're dealing with things as simple as the bottle that it comes in. We order bottles, 30, 60,000 of them at a time. We have to make sure that our bottle suppliers, our supply chain, always has those in reserves for us. We have to make sure, and I'll get to the point at the end, but our labels have to be spot on. We have in-house label machines. We have third-party people that make labels for us. Flavorings, coming from the various flavoring companies, they can't be out of inventory for us. One of our biggest things that we always try to keep our arms wrapped around is our supply chains. Because again, we want to produce the most consistent product out there.
Yeah.
The flavorings themselves go through development. They're tested across all devices. There's control groups put together to give their opinions on the juice. Then we'll use a test market. And our test markets have grown. We don't always use the Treasure Valley up here in Idaho anymore. might pick out somewhere across the United States where dead presidents is heavily prevalent and start getting some opinions, on we're thinking about this. What do you think? And we like to really involve consumers in that too. People that don't have any relationship to us, besides the fact that they're TP fans. And we get their input. We get input on the imaging. And then a lot of people that I've talked to that don't know anything about juice manufacturing feel that, well, you guys just whip up a flavor and put it on the market.
Yeah. No.
It's very intensive, and the amount of marketing that goes behind it is just absolutely astronomical. And myself, I have two absolutely brilliant partners that I work with and a lab manager. I have the most incredible team. I love them like I love my own family. And we'll sit there and we'll look at something. We'll look at the branding. We'll look at the flavor itself. And we shoot holes in it. We take turns shooting holes in it. Well, what about this? I don't like that. Do you think somebody's going to be offended by that? Do you think that that's a flavor that's going to appeal nationally? Or do you just like it? We're pretty brutal on each other. We beat each other up pretty good, shooting holes in concept to end use product, and it's really worked out well for us. We have an incredible team.
That's awesome. And it sounds like that's what makes a big difference. When I often hear kind of through the whole manufacturing process, they're like, at the end of the day, it's these people who are willing to take their time and keep trying the flavors over and over again and going back to the drawing board and asking the questions that are extremely important to ask, that if you're not asking them, someone's definitely going to ask them somewhere down the road. So it's good that you're even addressing those before the flavor is even out on the market. So, and you said that you guys steep. How long do you guys normally steep for?
We use a different type of steeping process. We actually roll the juice for a couple hours at a time. In a true steeping process, there's a lot of different opinions out there, but it all comes down to the amount of oxygen being moved throughout the juice itself. And so we kind of force the oxygen to move. And by the time we take it off the spinners, it's literally ready to be baked.
Wow. Like hyper speed steeping then. Yeah, no, it's like kind of like engineered diamonds, right? You got the diamond in the wild that takes forever, and then you've got the people who press them real quick, and it's the same product. It just took way faster for the other one to. Makes sense. So we've got a couple more questions. Bethany would like to know if there's a vape shop in Idaho that you prefer over others.
Oh, Bethany, you're putting me on the spot.
You could give a list if you don't want to say one name. You could give some shout outs.
There is a shining star out there. It would be the Urban Vapor Lofts.
Ooh.
Quickly followed by a chain of stores called Vape. But as a favorite, I have to think about them all as a family, because they're the ones that really push Dead Presidents forward and make it available to all the people that want to vape it. And the Treasure Valley up here where we're at is literally a hotbed for vaping. You've got several just fantastic manufacturers up here. You have us, you have Known Distro, you have Lotus Vaping Technologies.
Oh.
These are some marvelous manufacturers. And we get to share ideas and concepts with those folks. And by the time we go to market with something and all the various stores that we own, they own, that's a loaded question. You're putting me on the spot.
You still gave you gave some answers though. That's good. You still dropped a few names. So Bethany, if you had, if you wanted to check, or if you live near Idaho and you wanted to check any of those out. Stephen Hawk would like to know, when you do go into a shop, what do you look for? You have your juice, you got your favorite mod. So what are some of the items that you like to just window shop, basically?
Well, I'm very big into vaping advocacy.
Oh, okay.
So the very first thing I do when I walk into a shop is I look to see what's on their shelves. I'm very against any IP theft. I'm against anything that would be related to youth. I don't like to see that because I feel that those types of issues hurt our industry on a whole. You know, every single day we're fighting this battle. And anything that tarnishes our industry or makes it less than adult, I kind of have an issue with. So that's what I look at, you know, before I'll agree to putting dead presidents in that store.
Definitely. That's something I've heard. I haven't heard a lot of people bring that up, but that's a unique take on that. Definitely having your products kind of separated into the more adult category so that there's no confusion, so that people aren't looking and kind of grouping that together definitely makes sense. So, and you know what? I think that's great that you're an advocate. I actually have some questions about advocacy, but we'll get into that later. Are the descriptions about the connection of the flavor to the presidents displayed on the bottles themselves?
We flat ran out of room. So that is legend in lore.
It happens. It happens. No, but then people can come on to live shows like this and hear all about the cool history. So, no, but that makes sense. There's only so many. You know, you have to put all the safety. You know, all the stuff that we have to put on bottles. That it makes sense that you would run out of room. So, how distributed are your products? You know, how many stores in the U.S. carry your products, or even internationally? I mean, if you don't have a number off the top of your head, that's fine. Just, you know, like roughly.
We deal in the United States from coast to coast.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of a state that we're not in. Some states are very prevalent. You've got your Texas, Utah, Idaho, North Carolina, South Carolina, Maine, Illinois. It's almost everywhere in the United States, and it's growing rapidly. And then as far as outside of the country, we do a lot of dealings in South Korea.
Oh.
We deal a lot in Iceland. We just developed a product brand new to the vaping industry called Vape Off. And they're little pocket-sized little sprayers to keep the vape off of your car windshields and your home windshields.
That's so cool. What are they called? I gotta write this down.
Called Vape Off. In fact, I was gonna call you guys. You should have it.
I don't. What? We very well may. That's.
But the distribution, like for that product, is starting in the UK on Friday. Iceland, 2 or 3 big ones here in the United States. It's we're really blessed, and it's due to the people that are watching you and I talk. You know, so we're all over the dang place. We're in Kuwait.
Wow.
Our soldiers vape dead presidents. It's I live a fairy tale life, and thank you all for making that possible.
Yes, definitely. I think a big thank you from everyone in the vape industry. Without you guys, without, you know, the vape fam, if you will, out there, none of this would be possible. We wouldn't be able to do a live show. We wouldn't have dead presidents. We wouldn't have any of this. So thank you guys. But so I have a question from Juicing with Jen for you. So with Oregon law, she's located in Oregon, about no faces, how do we try to get you on the shelves more so than now? She's in mid-Oregon. No one here has dead presidents, she's saying. Do you get pre-approved before that law took effect as far as the facial thing, or?
You know, that is a very good question, and kind of a funny one, too. It was brought to my attention that we had been banned in the state of Oregon.
What?
Because evidently they consider, whatever powers that may be, that the skulls of the dead presidents depict celebrities. And okay, your state, your rules, I respect that. And so we have Oregon labels. When dead presidents go out to Oregon, especially in the Portland, Salem, Albany, Lincoln City, LeGrand areas, those all have a very specific Oregon label that go out. And same thing in Utah too.
Wow, okay, so you guys actually manufacture different labels for that issue specifically. That's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's another thing I haven't heard yet from anyone, actually, from any of the other manufacturers, that they design labels specifically for that. So that's a very neat way to get around a lot of those restrictions, for sure. I was gonna ask this question later, but I mean, I think this is like a perfect segue into it. Um, do you ever have people that accuse you guys of being like irreverent for using dead presidents and stuff? Because I thought it would be super cheeky to get you guys on the show the day after, President's Day, but some people were like, "Oh, I don't know," and I'm like, I think that's what they're going. I think they're trying to be edgy, though.
Yeah. No, we have never had one complaint about using the presidents. In fact, we're really into
Yeah,
them.
clearly.
If there is a person or persons out there that we have offended, by using dead presidents as branding and imaging, rest assured that they are in good hands. They mean a lot to us. It's our American history, and that's where the entire vape history thing came from, was to kind of to pay respects and kudos to those presidents that were responsible for shaping this fantastic country that we live in.
And how amazing that you guys did it based on the foods that they like. That still blows my mind. Like, I had no idea that that was even a thing. No, definitely, I would agree. Definitely good hands, you guys. I can tell you're historians, so that's awesome. Stephen Hawk would like to know, who is your favorite artist? Who inspires you the most?
And my favorite artist. My favorite artist is my grandma Bobby. Uh,
Really?
she's phenomenal. I don't know if he was actually talking about actual artwork or a band, or I'm not
Yeah,
quite sure.
I'm not too clear on that either. Stephen, could you clarify for us in the chat what you meant as far as artist? And while we get that clarification, I have just kind of like a side question. So you guys clearly have got the whole branding thing down. Like that goes without saying. But what else would you say you're doing besides kind of honing in on your target market, which is people who love skulls, people who love good flavors, and people who love their history? And you've got this branding thing down. What else are you guys doing to encourage loyalty to your brand?
We like to make people very aware of what we do as far as protecting vapors' rights. You have one of my favorites out there, Safada. I think they do just absolutely wonderful work. They do it on a national level. I don't feel like that I am qualified to lobby on a national level. We can contribute money, and which we do, to those guys that play in that arena. But we're huge proponents in the state of Idaho. We don't have any issues with scheduling an appointment with the senator and going meeting eye to eye. In fact, our last one here in Idaho, they were trying to raise the age of traditional cigarette use and vaping to the age of 21, and we've gone two or three times now, and now it's been shot down completely both times. But the one thing that I would like to, this is the perfect forum to share it in too, is you can make a huge difference locally. And I think that that's what most people should be concentrated on, because if you live in like the state of Nevada, your best bet to have your voice heard is to deal with the senators that are actually representing your state. And our last meeting with the senator here in Idaho was about a month ago. Going, the lobbyist that brought this to you, the American Heart and Lung Association, has just come out and said, that vaping is a very viable harm reduction. So why are we classifying that in the same sentence as traditional tobacco use? And
Absolutely.
so we've changed our fight. We let big tobacco do their thing, but as far as we're concerned, we want vaping separated from any law that governs big tobacco. So that's what we push towards.
Definitely. I mean, and it really is its own entity. Um, and I think that it's good that we've definitely honed in. Like, people are kind of a little bit more knowledgeable now on how to advocate on their own behalf, which I think is great. So I have to agree with you on that. Now we have Jackie who wants to know, do you have a Trump e-juice coming out soon or in mind, and what flavor would that be? And then she also added on, what about a Barack Obama flavor, or are your flavors only applicable to dead presidents?
Yeah, Jackie, they're not dead.
I know, that's what she's saying. She's saying, or do you only do dead presidents?
we actually get asked that on a daily basis. We really do. And if we had the ability with the FDA to come out with one, absolutely we would. It would be a lot of fun, and we would have a really good time with it. But unfortunately, with the deeming regulations and the uncertainty with those right now, our hands are tied.
Gotta put it on hold. Makes sense. We also had another question, I believe. Oh, nope, we didn't get. Stephen, if you could clarify your earlier question regarding an artist so that we can answer that a little bit more clearly, that would definitely help a little bit for that one, just so that we can get you your answer. But Jeremy, so you're very clearly popular with the masses. You guys are, you've got a lot of fans in the chat, definitely. But have your products received any awards or special recognition from influential industry individuals or organizations?
We have, and I'm going to apologize profusely. I don't remember them all.
That's fine.
I remember the most recent one was at the West Coast Vape Expo up in Lincoln City, and it was for our Jefferson flavor. And I know there was at least 2 other ones, and again, I apologize profusely. I just don't remember which ones they were. It's not I really appreciate the fact that my company and my partners and I were able to win those awards. But for us, it's just more about the dead president itself. So. Makes
sense. And it sounds like you guys definitely know your history and that you actually are truly interested. So I think that's what's cool to me, at least. I don't know if people are fangirling as hard out there as I am, but we had someone said they think that Steven means musical artist. So I mean, let's just do it anyways. Who's your favorite musical artist?
Hands down, I can answer that in a heartbeat. Green Day.
Ooh, okay, very nice. Early 90s Green Day, early 2000s. Okay, so OG Green Day.
OG Green Day.
Welcome to Paradise and before Green Day. Very nice, very nice.
More recent stuff. I'm a big Bieber fan. If anybody says they're not a Bieber fan, they're lying.
Are you a believer?
I've seen you singing along.
That's awesome. No, it's be true to yourself. It's all truth here, okay? I think there's a little believer in all of us for sure. So I hope, Stephen, I hope that answered your question. If not, I think we all can at least enjoy the believer aspect of it. And someone actually asked in the chat if you guys have considered, and I know you answered this earlier, but if you could reiterate just a brief summary regarding mods for your brand.
Yeah, we have released Dead Presidents mods before in conjunction with Rig. It went wonderfully well. I believe that we released about 50 of them. Myself and my partners, Tim and Dustin, we still retain the prototype and we still have the #1 serial number. But keep your eyes out. I keep trying to convince those guys that we ought to have a contest with them one of these days. They were solid copper, and anybody that's used to a Rig mod knows they make an absolutely wonderful product and reliable.
Very cool. So I hope that answered your question. And Jeremy's got this engineering background, so he can go and he's got a plethora of mods. So I'm sure he could go on for days about that, which he mentioned earlier. And maybe we'll get into the mod combo later if we have time
too. If you guys know the guys down at Smoking Vapor, the Me Pod, Great company, great individuals. I'm trying to convince them all the time to make a Dead President's version of this.
Yeah, no, well, that's what someone just asked. So a pod system may not be put out of the realm of possibility for you guys. Very cool. So William, it can happen. It's there. It's there in the pipeline. Sounds like so, or at least the idea is there. But I know you guys said that you're waiting on everything with the FDA, which makes perfect sense. So actually, kind of skipping back to the juice making process itself, we talked about facility standards, safety procedures, cleanliness, which you guys seem to put a huge value on, which is amazing. Excuse me. But about as far as people coming in and kind of like checking up on your facility, how often, making sure that you have the right certifications. Excuse me. I got a tickle in my throat. How often does that occur? And
that's a really good question. We have never been inspected, to be honest. However, with the FDA deeming regulations, I believe that it says in there somewhere that you're subject to inspection at least once every 2 years, and we welcome them. Come on in, come and check things out.
Sounds like it.
Our laboratory is phenomenal. We have our team that actually mops the entire warehouse floor. We don't leave any garbage around. We leave no standing e-liquid, or you won't find any garbage. It's an extremely clean facility, and with our first FDA inspection, I can honestly say that we're ready and we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you. Sorry, someone just brought me a cup of water. The pollen here is crazy in Las Vegas. Yeah, I've actually never known about as far as what the standard is for when everybody gets inspected and stuff, but that's great that you guys are so confident you're ready to go. It sounds like you have everything like ready to go, all straightened out. Everything's, where it should be proper. So I have no doubt that you guys would be fine on that. But so we were talking about, kind of other brands previously. What is your favorite flavor from a line that's not Dead Presidents?
Boy, there's a bunch of them out there. I'm a huge Element fan. I think they make incredible e-liquids.
Yeah, definitely.
Some of the pioneers of the industry, and some of their flavors are just absolutely spot on. I was hooked on a banana nut bread Element for like quite some time. I had the little branding flasks that they offered for a little while, some of their orange ones. Those are kind of the OG guys, kind of moving into the future on the stuff that has been released. I'm a big fan of Keep It 100. I'm a huge fan of Marina Vapes and the stuff that they've released. Somebody had asked earlier about a tea juice that I believe it's called that Thai tea, though.
Yeah.
Phenomenal if you're looking for a tea e-liquid. There's a couple that have been produced from back east. Drip Witch is a wonderful e-liquid line. There's a lesser known one too that I just stumbled onto. It's a guy, I'm horrible with names, but they're out of Ohio, and it's called Thin Line, and their juices are named like police, firefighter, paramedic. And what these guys do on every bottle of their e-liquid that is sold, they make a donation back to these organizations that help support first responders, which I thought was pretty dang cool.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I didn't even know that they existed, but that's awesome. That's amazing. I love when people attach stuff to a cause, whenever people donate to charity or anything to tie it in. That's awesome. So
there's also one more up here. Actually, it's manufactured here in Idaho by Lotus Technologies. The Stronomenom and the Lanomenom and Grape Nomen. You can't say nomenom that many times without messing it up. That phenomenal juice. It comes in 120 ml too. I was stuck on their juice for a good solid month before I had to go back to my Roosevelt. So.
Sounds like, so that's your like ADV then.
Definitely.
Roosevelt.
Yeah.
And we actually, not to bring down the mood, we had someone in the chat say keep it 100 RIP, and I'm sure that you heard about, the owner of.
That was so sad. I was actually devastated because I can imagine. I'll get Jerry.
Yeah.
Somebody in our organization happening too.
It's hard, and it is, but I guess we just wanted to give a shout out to kind of the owner of Keep It 100. He has a couple of brands under his belt, but unfortunately last week he passed away on Valentine's Day. So we just wanted to kind of have a moment of silence and share our condolences with his team and his family and his vape fam, because amazing flavor, amazing people, and it hits everybody really hard in the industry when something like that happens. So thank you for bringing that up as well, Bethany. Definitely something that I think is very important to be addressed. So Cody Myers in the chat would like to know, Jeremy, how would somebody go about getting sponsored by dead presidents? Asking for a friend. Are you sure you're not asking for yourself, Cody?
Getting sponsored by dead presidents is actually a totally random process. We get requests, several requests daily, and we'll look over your page and see what you're doing. Are you a trickster? Are you a model? Do you like to take photography pictures? And it's just a very totally random process. If you posted something that caught our eye and happened to hit us up, we might sponsor you.
So Cody, hit him up if you're interested or your friend is interested. So I'm going to take another opportunity to pause really quick and just remind everyone, you guys, we've had a couple of new people pop in to the chat while we've been going back and forth. So I'm Tina with eJuices.com. We have a couple of new people in the chat, so if it's your first time watching, hello. And I have here with me Jeremy from Dead Presidents, who has been doing an awesome job at answering your questions about his personal vape journey. Dead Presidents, the brand, kind of even a little talk about advocacy in between here, talking about safety regulations, where the industry is going in general. It's been a really great conversation so far, you guys. I just want to remind you, we've got a giveaway going on, and I'm going to be selecting the winner around 7:40 to 7:45-ish, so be sure to enter that. And Jeremy has been awesome enough to provide the giveaway winner with some great prizes, so if you do win, you're going to get the entire Dead Presidents line, all 7 flavors, and one of those sweet Dead Presidents hoodies that I know you guys are dying to have. So make sure that you enter that in the next 20 minutes or so, because then it's all over, you guys. Then we're picking the winner. And if you have any questions for Jeremy in the next 20 minutes or so, be sure to drop them in the chat now, you guys, because this is an industry expert, and not only is he an industry expert, but he's been around in the vaping game since, stuff started getting really serious. So almost an OG vapor, you guys. Lots of knowledge here, and he's super passionate about his brand. He's a historian, so ask him any questions you guys want regarding the e-juice making process, himself, vaping, what have you. So, Jeremy, so you feel that your company is prepared for any upcoming imminent regulations?
Yeah, what we're looking at, like I said earlier on, was we welcome the deeming regulations. It's an industry that definitely needs regulations, simply from the health aspect, the inspections, making sure that your manufacturers are giving you the most quality product that they possibly can. And one of the mysteries to us right now is what's called the PMTA applications, or the pre-market tobacco applications. They can get very expensive. In my opinion, they were kind of based around big tobacco and the funding that they have. So hopefully, we've had a lot of really amazing things happen for the vaping industry in the last 6 months. We had President Trump elected. Love or hate him, He did a thing for the vaping industry. He put in charge of the FDA a guy named Scott Gottlieb, who appears to be pro vaping, or at least has come out and got the FDA to admit, that vaping should be classified as a harm reduction device rather than your traditional combustible cigarette. That is massive. That's a step in the right direction for us. They granted us at least another 4 years, before the PMT applications are due. A lot can happen in 4 years. Look what's happened in the last 6 months.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's the thing. It's always changing. Every year this industry is different. Every year there's new mods, new flavors, there's new products like the kind that you guys came up with where you can get the vapor out of your vehicles and stuff. So, yeah, lots can change in 6 months in this industry, definitely. So we have a couple more. Stephen Hawk wants to know, can I get a Dead Prez banana hammock? I don't think so, Steve. I don't think so.
Don't do it.
Hey, you heard the man, Stephen. You heard him. How long does it take? I'm not sure what that is. How long does it take to play a game of cornhole?
Somebody must know us. My partners and I are huge cornhole fans.
Oh, okay.
Before you get the wrong idea, it's kind of like a game of horseshoes, except for you're using boards and bean bags. And once you get the game down, a game should go relatively quick.
All right, there you go. And that was a question from Bethany, who had the cornhole question. Shawla's B wants to know, do you guys use USA source stuff? He knows some people use only kosher. What's the deal with that?
We're not, we've explored the entire kosher thing a little bit, and we respect that, and it's something that, we eventually may move towards. But everything that we use as Dead Presidents, you couldn't hardly use something that's not produced in the United States of America.
Makes sense. Exactly. It's all branding. Oh, he said US. I think he meant USP. But we got another question from Bethany. What do you guys do at the warehouse when you're not getting orders or looking for shops to carry your product?
Oh, that's a never-ending process. That's what we're always looking for. But we discuss a lot of ideas. We discuss, what we might be releasing next. We discuss what the next hoodie should look like, what the next T-shirt should look like, next hat. We discuss collaborations. We discuss different countries. We discuss shipping methods. By air, seaport, or just traditional USPS. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and when we're extremely busy, it's things that we just don't get the time to sit and discuss. So when we do have a little break and get to talk about those things, it's very productive.
Very cool. Someone said Dead Prez fanny packs. Well, maybe that can be something that they brainstorm on, you guys.
That was actually a consideration a little while ago.
Really? Yeah, the fanny packs made their comeback. They did. They dug their way out of the 80s and early 90s grave, and now they were popular for sure. Everybody says they're down for them, so. Parker Speed says, Jeremy, if I beat you at cornhole, can I be a Dead Prez model?
Absolutely.
There you go. More fanny packs, more Dead Prez models. Only if you beat them at cornhole, you guys. So, other than the regulations, what would you say is the biggest challenge in the e-juice making industry?
The biggest challenge that I see is that it's an extremely competitive market. And you're not able to do a lot of new things right now. You're not able to just drop a new flavor at a whim. You can't be creative on a whim anymore until this all gets sorted out. So I really feel like that's our biggest challenge right now, is making sure that all of our vape fam as a whole gets a bottle of Dead Presidents in their hand, at least to try it, so they can decide, if the bottle that they purchase when they go into their favorite vape store is going to be Dead Presidents or not.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that for sure. It's definitely it's something to overcome, but I think that, like you said, as long as people are at least trying it, that's where the big, where you're getting really the most success. But so aside from, the challenges, you mentioned in your last comment collaborations. So other than the Nick salts that we discussed, are there any things that we can expect from Dead Presidents that you'd be willing to share? Any new flavors, new collabs in the works? Or it's fine if it's under lock and key. That's okay. We respect that. But if you have anything in the works that you'd like to share?
Just our Nick salts right now. It's gonna be phenomenal, and it's gonna hit the market pretty hard. And the people that we've chosen to work with go by the same standards that we do, and we are very comfortable bringing them into the fold to be able to release the Dead President's Nick Salt lines. And one thing that I would have to say is, we work very closely with some major distributors, a lot of names that you would recognize, and some of the feedback that we get from those folks, has been absolutely instrumental in deciding what direction that we want to move in next. So I think a couple of things that you can expect to see from Dead Presidents in the very near future, obviously the Nick Salt lines, and I think we're going to try to capitalize on our clothing lines. We've discussed full sweatsuits.
Ooh.
Dead President's shoes. My partner threw Dead President's flip-flops at me here a little while ago. The lanyards, maybe even possibly fanny packs. It's like we were talking about earlier, is that due to our vaping community, Dead Presidents has found its cult following, and we're so appreciative of that we wouldn't for a second think about letting you down.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love the presidents thing. I love it. I think we just posted for you earlier, and I said, like, I put Lincoln up, and I was like 4.7 puffs ago or something. It's like no, but I love it. I really love how much you guys consider your audience and your vape family, if you will. And speaking of families, we had another question in the chat. Bethany wants to know, do your family members vape as well?
Yes, my wife is a very avid vapor. I recently just started my mother on a Me Pod because she was interested in the flavors. Who else do I have in my family that vapes? My mother-in-laws, both of them. Yeah, quite a few family members, and any family member that I have that smokes, they hear me.
Yeah, I'm sure. I believe it. I know. I rag on all the people who have analogs. I'm like, oh, well, you know that I like work for a vape company, right? And they're like, yeah, I know. And I'm like, well, let me show you. I pull out my mod, like, definitely. So we're talking about kind of like the biggest challenges in the e-juice market, right? We said that before. What about the manufacturing process? What do you feel are aspects of the manufacturing process that are misunderstood by the average consumer?
For the average consumer, I have this conversation actually pretty frequently, is what you see up there on the shelf when you go into your vape shop. There is a massive process behind that thing. We have to. I mentioned earlier, supply chain is a big issue.
Yes.
When you're dealing with national lines, you have to constantly have the raw materials and able to put it together. Some of the ingredients, we've been able to take out of the equation by bringing in, machines that are capable of producing labels, that we can do, one label a second. But bottles, finding quality bottles, we've gotten to the point to where we will interview suppliers. What quality control issues have you seen? We had a bottle issue that went from coast to coast one time that had me pulling my hair out. We have, when you're vaping, the last thing you want to have, when you turn that bottle upside down, is for the unicorn to fly out of it.
Yeah.
Nobody likes a lap full of vape juice. So I had to do a lot of assuring and relationship mending. Because the vape shop owners are up in arms when they have a customer come in and, hey, I've had 3 of these things shoot out of the bottle. What are you doing about it? So I have to be able to explain and provide validation, that problem has been cured. Flavorings, when you're dealing with national lines, you deal with tremendous amounts of flavorings. VG and PG suppliers, I believe that I have one of the best in the United States, and I will only order from them. I want to know where my nicotine was sourced from, where's the testing that went behind it. You can expect, if you're a supplier of ours, you could be called to the carpet for anything.
Yeah, no, that I definitely agree that I think people don't really understand a lot of those things. Like I'm sure, like you said, you have to explain it to consumers all the time. So I'm sure that these questions come a lot. But so I gotta ask you, this is not vape related, but I just on a one-off before I do another giveaway reminder. Have you ever considered a career in radio or anything? Because your voice is just like...
Thank you so much. I've been asked that my entire life.
Oh, okay. So it's not new then.
I even have friends that are radio station managers and said, if you ever decide you want to do something else, why don't you come see us?
That's awesome. There you go. But first we started with an engineer, went into the vape industry, maybe someday radio star or movie announcer, like somebody in the trailer.
I'd really like to do the UFC thing.
Yeah, see, I could see that too. So I'm just going to take one more second to pause and announce one more time, you guys, for those who popped in. I know we had a few people come in at the last minute. If it is your first time watching, because I know we have a few new people here. Hi, I'm Tina with eJuices.com, and I have with me Jeremy from the Dead Presidents e-liquid line, who has been so awesome in answering our questions, going back and forth with us, answering your guys' questions. And by the way, live chat, you guys have been amazing tonight, and I love that you guys have been keeping these amazing questions coming. We have a giveaway that I'll be selecting the winner for in the next 8 to 10 minutes. I'll be picking the winner for that. And what the winner is going to receive is all 7 flavors from the Dead Presidents line, the entire line, as well as one of those super, super sweet Dead Presidents hoodies right up there that I know you guys are dying to get your hands on. So one winner is going to receive that, and I'll be pulling that name around 7:40, 7:45-ish. So Jeremy, I know we talked about it a few times throughout this, but I mean, I'd like to dedicate the next few minutes to advocacy because I really can tell that it's something that you're extremely passionate about. So as far as advocacy, how have you dipped your toe into that realm when it comes to that? Because it sounds like you're very knowledgeable when it comes to it.
Yeah, I firmly believe that if you're a manufacturer and you have the resources, that you should definitely check into Safada. Also, Greg Conley is a huge supporter of our industry. But I personally feel that the biggest impact is made on a local level. And if you like the vaping industry the way it is, if you like being able to go into your vape shop and choose from numerous flavors, you can make a tremendous impact just by calling your state senators, your representatives. They are obligated to speak with you. They work for us. And if you're living in that state, you have a voice. And it's up to that state representative, and usually falls to the senators and the House of Representatives, to listen to your voice, no matter how big or how small. I'm a vaping manufacturer. I can go in, I talk to senators. you as an individual out there, no matter where you're at, have that exact same right. And if you feel strongly about vaping, if you have a story, about what vaping did for your life or what it did for a family member's life, tell that senator or that member of the House, what you've seen, what you've experienced. Tell them the good things about it. Tell them, if you're a parent and you got off the combustibles and you're vaping now, that now we're dealing with a harmless aerosol, that my kids aren't going to get secondhand smoke. Numerous things, you're not going to get cancer. You're not going to be one of the 7 million people that die worldwide from using traditional cigarettes.
Yeah.
How did this all come about? I'm hoping, if you're involved in the vaping community, if you feel strongly about it, that you've watched 1 Billion Lives, that you know that we were sold out for $1, that cigarettes are still available on the market, knowing that they kill you because states have received money from big tobacco basically to keep their mouth shut. Let us keep selling cigarettes and we will give you millions of dollars annually.
Yep.
And some of these states have gone out and budgeted the money into their annual budget. That's not a leader. That is not a leader.
No, definitely not. It's blood money. I mean, it really is. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize how much there is actually going on in the conversation when it comes to higher ups and lobbyists and all the backdoor stuff that goes on. It's insane.
It's insane.
It is. It's insane. And I didn't even, I kind of knew, but we actually had Dave Gerlitz, the guy who did, 1 Billion Lives, on the show, and he just had so much to say about it. And if you guys are interested, you can go back in our YouTube and see our show with Dave Gerlitz after this. But so much to say about what's going on up there. And it's like, it's almost like, it's almost like a conspiracy, but it's real. So I think that's what's the terrifying part. We have a question advocacy-wise. Juicing with Jen says, I'm doing an Oregon Advocacy Expo. Excuse me, guys. Yes, I do need more water. Advocacy Expo. How should I contact you to attend? I need some help in Oregon. I'm the lobbyist, but I do need bottlers who believe in what I'm trying to do to make positive.
Oh, absolutely. We would be honored to help, really. Oregon's a big state for us, even though we were once banned there. We fixed that. Contact us at eJuiceBoulevard@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do to help.
And we actually have another question that they said, Jeremy, do you know of any cool tricks or products for cleaning the vape film off of your windshield of your car? He actually just brought this up earlier. They invented it, believe it or not.
We actually just brought that to market, and it just flat floored us with the response that it got. It's called Vape Off. They come in 2-ounce and 16-ounce bottles, and we've partnered with a couple of distributors in the U.S., distributors in Iceland, and distributors in the U.K. And it's going out quickly. Oh, and actually another one in Canada. So it's hitting the market quickly. I love it, and there's really not a whole lot you can say about a glass cleaner, but I can say this. Our UK distributor comes on Friday. They didn't believe it. They're like, Jeremy, what kind of snake oil do you have in there? True story. They went out and bought every cleaner down at whatever local store they go to in the UK to compare it to the Vape Off, and emailed us back, says, I wish you'd tell us what was in there, because it actually does work and it actually does deflect the vape from sticking to your windshield.
That's fantastic. They even tested it. That's awesome.
I drive a Jeep Wrangler.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with Wranglers, they have a very flat windshield.
I love Wranglers.
I'm constantly blowing vape at it. And through part of the testing process, my partner, Tim, was actually the scientist behind this recipe. That I would blow, I did my windows, I did it as suggested, I used a microfiber cloth, and I cleaned the snot out of them. I didn't have to do it again for 3 weeks. It actually did keep the vape from sticking to my windshield. If you're a vapor, you know this problem exists.
Yeah.
You know, hot or cold weather, it will build up on your windshield. And actually, if you haven't been able to kick the sticks yet, cigarette smokers have the same problem, you know, so it's kind of dual purpose.
The film, yeah, you're right. The film is everywhere, but I think that that's amazing that you guys created a product for vaping that really doesn't have any, it's a cleaning product. It has nothing to do with vaping.
It is not for vaping. Do not vape it.
No, yes, exactly. Let me clarify. Don't vape it. Use it when you're vaping to make sure that it doesn't get over your windshield or what have you. But supplementary products, that's unique. A lot of other manufacturers aren't doing that. And supplementary products, that's definitely something that I think is another thing that probably sets you guys apart in a major way from competitors, for sure. Nibble 2020 wants to know, Jeremy, what does the plate on your Jeep, what does your plate say on your Jeep?
That's easy. Dead Prez.
You literally live and breathe it, huh?
I am infatuated with this brand, and I feel grateful and blessed, you know, that we have a product out there that took, so to speak. And I every day, you know, I think about the number of people that have switched over from smoking to vaping, and maybe in some small part, you know, Dead Presidents was part of that.
Absolutely. Sounds like a big part from all the people in the chat that we have. So I'm going to take this opportunity before I go ahead and draw that lucky giveaway winner who is going to receive the entire Dead Presidents line, all 7 flavors, as well as a Dead Presidents hoodie. I just wanted to show you guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to show them your Instagram so that they can go ahead and follow you guys. And if you guys are interested in seeing kind of their layout, let me pull it up right here. So here is their Instagram, you guys. If you're interested in following them, their handle is Dead Presidents eLiquid, and you can definitely see they've got a little bit of everything from their branding on their shirts, their t-shirts there, to all the different flavors, all the different presidents. I love your guys' use, your aesthetic, like the lighting on your guys' photos. I'm a social media geek, so just ignore me. But if you guys are interested, this is kind of their aesthetic, which I love. And it's got all their flavors, got some of their swag on there. So if you guys are interested, definitely go follow Dead Presidents eLiquid on Instagram because they have a really nice social presence on top of the awesome branding and amazing premium flavors. So you guys, it is the time. The time is now upon us. We are going to select our giveaway winner. So woohoo! And the winner of this giveaway is going to receive, again, the entire Dead Presidents line, all 7 flavors in the hoodie. So, drum roll for me, please, guys. Our winner, ooh, we have a lot of entries in this one. Ooh, okay, hold on. Let me announce it in the widget, and then I'll flip it so that you guys can see. So, guys, our winner is Jackie H. Congratulations, Jackie. Woohoo! You win the entire Dead Presidents line and a Dead Presidents hoodie. So thank you so much for joining the show. Thank you for participating. For all of you guys that are out there watching, thank you for joining. If you didn't win this time, no worries. We do a giveaway on all of our shows, but some of them aren't going to be as sweet as this one, you guys. Let's just put it out. This one's good. This one's good. You've got the swag, you've got the juice, but we're going to be doing it in the future. So if you didn't win, don't worry, you guys. We still have some awesome prizes coming up in the future. But Jackie, congratulations. Be sure to email us at ejuicescom@gmail.com, and we will go ahead and forward your information over to Jeremy so that you can get those flavors and that hoodie ASAP. So, Jeremy, in closing, is there anything that you'd like all of our viewers to know about Dead Presidents, your brand, kind of where you guys are going, the industry in general? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thank you. For those of you that vape Dead Presidents, you mean the absolute world to us. and we will continue to pump out quality products that you can count on to be consistent, flavorful, and just hit the spot when you're vaping. Like I said, the Nick Salt lines are getting ready to release. Our merchandise is getting ready to release. And for us, even we are a large corporation, but this community is what it's about. It's the partnerships in the community. It's the vapors themselves providing feedback, and the fan base, and this the industry is amazing. And just thank you so much.
Yes, I agreed. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We wouldn't be able to do at eJuices.com what we do. Jeremy wouldn't be able to do what he does. So thank you guys for being as amazing, and keep fighting that good fight, you guys. And as far as us, you guys, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Check back because we have more valuable tips and information on the vaping industry. Guests who are not all of them are as awesome as Jeremy. Not all of them, they'll aspire to be as good as Jeremy. But be sure to check back. Like I said, you guys, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. If you have any questions that weren't answered in this show, you can go ahead and comment underneath, and I'll make sure that they get to Jeremy, or that someone at least answers those questions for you. And again, we'll be doing this show same time next week, you guys, 6 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And as a last minute kind of announcement, I also attached it underneath this video, you guys. We have some brand ambassadors in the house over here. I see you guys in the chat. But if you guys are interested in learning how you can use your social media and your kind of passion for vaping as a way to earn points and rewards and stuff on our website, then go ahead and click that link and check it out. So thank you guys again. Thank you, Jeremy, for being such an amazing guest and for answering all of our questions.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Have a good night, you guys. I'll see you next week, same time. And let's all give Jeremy a big thank you for coming on the show and answering all our questions. Have a good evening, you guys.